everyone, this is Dyniecia Barnes, and today I will be demonstrating the detangling process. Now, some things that you want to make sure that you have on hand before you start detangling your hair is some form of moisturizer. Today I am using Design Essentials Natural Daily Moisturizing Lotion. And the tools that you want to make sure that you have on hand are a 7 or 9 row brush, the pick, the wide tooth comb, and the rake comb. These are the tools that I will be using today. So what I have under this hat is an absolute mess. I took my braids down with the intentions of jumping right in and doing the shampoo, and life happened. So I put it up in a ponytail and kept it pushing. So now it is, let me take my little scrunchie off. Now it is an absolute mess. And I know I'm not the only one who does this. And this can happen to your hair when you take your hair right out of your braids and you do not detangle right away. The hair will start to tangle on itself. So I offer the detangling service. It starts at $50, but to avoid this fee, I recommend in the salon policy for clients to go ahead and detangle their hair before they show up for their appointment. Part of the issue is people tend to take a lot of hair out and break their hair off. They get frustrated with the knots and the kinks and everything, and it tends to make matters worse for the hair. So I would like to show you guys how to properly and gently and safely detangle your hair. Let's get started.
To start the detangling process, right now I am separating my hair with my fingers, and when I get to the ends or if I run into a knot, I use my fingertips to separate the hair, and I section the bottom half off with a hair clip. And then I am going to apply my lotion, the Design Essential Natural something lotion. I'm going to apply that to my hair, and the reason why you want to apply some type of moisturizing lotion or hair oil or buttercream, just something, you want to hydrate the hair, you want to moisturize it so that it can start absorbing the moisturizers and restoring the elasticity to the hair. You are also you're also rescuing it from being dry and brittle for when you start to detangle your hair. If you have 4C hair, or super curly hair, I would not recommend detangling your hair with water, because then you're going to be fighting knots and shrinkage at the same time. So just use your fingertips to kind of start the detangling process by separating all the little patches of tangles before you go in with your tool. Now, the first tool of choice for this portion of the video is the wide tooth comb. This is what is traditionally used in order to detangle hair. And so I'm demonstrating how I use the wide tooth comb to detangle my hair. Now, when you're ready to start detangling the hair using the comb, you want to start at the ends of the hair and work your way to the roots. Now, my hair was braided because I was wearing wigs for a while. And so I had probably about a month and a half, 2 months of the braids. And then I took my hair down with the intention of creating this video like 2 weeks ago. So when I took my braids down, I wore my hair as a braid out. So I did not detangle at all. I just took the braids down and rocked it how it was. So what tends to happen is as your hair is growing under the braids, that hair kind of gets tangled with the existing hair, the fallen hair, and the new hair that's coming in. So at this point, I've reached the roots of my hair, and as you can see, it starts to kind of bunch about mid-shaft, which is okay, because what I'm going to do is once I get the roots sorted out, I am going to go under that bunch or that new tangle and detangle again from the ends up to the bunch. As you saw, I did not power through and force that comb through my hair. I pulled the comb out, went down to the ends, and worked my way up to the new tangled area. And every time that I reach it, I start back at the bottom or at the ends of my hair, and I work my way all the way up until I can smoothly bring the comb through my hair from roots to ends. I don't like using too many clips. So what I opted to do with this section is to go ahead and twist the two together. When you have too many clips in your head, they tend to get in the way as you're working with the other areas of your head. This portion of the video covers the use of the pick. Now, I like the pick. I like the pick more than I like the wide tooth comb because I can handle it a little better, and also it seems to be a little easier on my coils. Also, the teeth are a little closer together, so when you come to knots, the pick does a really good job of working out those kinks. And I repeat the process of starting at the ends of my hair and working the way up the hair shaft until I get to those the tight areas in the roots, and I take my time and work those knots out. And as you can see, it went a lot smoother than the first time. I didn't get any bunching at the ends, or I didn't get any bunching at the middle of the shaft as I was detangling my hair. So, oil or moisturizer distribution. When you put about a dime to a quarter size amount of oil or moisturizer in the palms of your hand, you're going to rub them together and pick the oil up off the palms of your hands with your fingers and deliver the oil to your scalp or the root first. I'm picking up some more oil on my fingers now, and I'm running my fingers through my hair, kind of like a large comb. And then with whatever oil is left over in my hands, I distribute that around the outside of the hair. So for this portion of the video, I am demonstrating the use of the 7 or 9 row brush, and it just depends on how many rows you get in the brush that you purchase, but I am doing the same thing. Usually I do advocate the use of the 7 or 9 row brush for detangling hair. This section admittedly is much larger than what you should part for the 7 or 9 row brush. As you can see, I'm having a little more difficulty detangling my hair than I did with the other 2 devices, but it is a good device for detangling your hair. You're just going to have to take smaller sections, and again, this just depends on your comfortability with working with your hair based on the density, the texture, the curl pattern. Luckily for me, that I am detangling my hair from a braid out, and I did not allow it to completely revert to its original state, so I'm not having as much difficulty as I could for a section this size using the 7 or 9 row brush. And I think the main thing is the length of the bristles. The length of the bristles are much shorter than the wide tooth comb, the rake, which you're going to see later, and the pick. What I can attest to is that the multiple bristles of the brush do a much thorough and quicker job when it comes to working out those tangles in the roots. For this portion of the video, I am demonstrating the use of the rake comb to detangle my hair, and it is the same as it is with every other device. Now, what I really like about the rake comb is the length of the teeth. The teeth are probably about 4 inches long, which means it can get through more hair. It can actually detangle the hair from one side of the section to the other. It allows you to get more done at a faster pace. The teeth are closer together, like the pick, so it is great for working out knots as well. And you just want to do the same thing with that you would do with all of the other devices, is getting the roots really good to work out those tangles. Another thing that I love about the rake comb instead of the wide tooth comb is its ergonomic support. That's the word. It's ergonomic support. You can handle the comb a little easier. It handles like a regular comb, except the handle is wider and sturdier, and the teeth go deeper into the hair.
So all of my hair is detangled now, and what I want to show you is how much hair I got out of the comb and brushes. So this is how much hair I got out of all of the implements. And the reason why I want to show you this is because people tend to freak out when they see the hair coming out, when they take their hair down. So with all of the implements that I have, I got this much hair. Now I'm gonna tell you why I am not freaking out. The reason why I'm not freaking out is because before I even did this detangling process, I had braided my hair down probably 2 months ago in cornrows. And it might have been a little longer than that, but at least I think 2 weeks ago is when I took those cornrows out and decided to rock my hair as decided to rock my hair in a braid out. And I had a lazy night and I slept on it. So of course it looked a hot mess. And with the hustle and bustle of day-to-day life and dealing with the kids and work and the house and, you know, life, I just put this stuff up in a spiral scrunchie and kept it pushing. And I wore headscarves and hats and stuff like that to get through the day, so I wouldn't be looking crazy while I was working or interacting or just going out and running errands and whatnot. So the hair sheds, your hair sheds about 35 to 100 hairs a day. That is how much your head will shed, okay? So just think about the number of days that were in the 2 months that I had not been brushing and combing my hair. Plus, when I did my braid out, of course, I didn't brush it out or comb it out. So add an additional, I think about 2 weeks. Add an additional about 2 weeks to that. And then multiply that times 35 or multiply that times 100. This is not unreasonable for that amount of time since my hair has been combed. So this is, or detangled, or brushed through. I call those hairs that the head sheds fallen hairs. Those are hairs that just separated. They reached the end of their growth cycle and the follicle released it. That is called the telogen phase. And all during that time that my hair was down, those hairs didn't get to be combed or removed from my hair. So it all comes out at the end when you take your hair down. That's why you do not have to be alarmed. So this is this doesn't mean that you're going bald or that you're losing your hair. It's all the hairs that would have shed every day had you been combing and brushing your hair. They're all coming out at one time after an extended amount of time. So I just wanted to show you this so you guys know not to completely freak out. The only time that you need to be concerned is if you touch your head and you feel empty in there, or you have little patches where there's no length and it's being broken off at the scalp, or if you have little patches where the hair is only this long. That is actual breakage. Okay, and at this time, being that there are several reasons, there's so many reasons why your hair could break off like that. Like for instance, you know, if you have any scalp conditions, if your hair had been over processed at some point and just over time the hair continued to break down, if it was over processed and it was very vulnerable, it will snap off during the detangling process, which has absolutely nothing to do with whatever style you got, be it crochet, weave, or whatever. It could be the stitch on your sew-in was too tight and the thread actually cut into the hair. It could be how your hair was braided. Maybe your hair was braided too tight, or during the process, you know, the hair wasn't pulled into the braid properly and the stylist actually caused some breakage, or you cause some breakage if you're braiding your own hair. There's just too many possibilities for me to tell you why your hair breaks off after a given style. But this is just to assure you that this amount of hair is normal when you've had your hair down for months at a time. So don't freak out, all right? And then if you are freaking out a little bit, just go through, check your hair. And how you would do that is you could just take little pieces and kind of, you know, extend the hair out and look for changes in density. Look for changes in density or whatnot. Or if you pull your hair up and like this is super thin and all of your density is down here near the scalp, then you know some breakage occurred. All right. But yeah, don't freak out too much about it. So now I'm about to move on to the shampoo, and I will check in with you guys later.
Now, when shampooing your hair in the shower, you want to make sure to direct all of your hair to the back and make sure that it falls in the same direction. Before applying your shampoo, you want to make sure that your hair is good and rinsed off. Using warm water, you want to rinse as much of product and oils and dirt and build up on the hair. You want to rinse as much of that off as possible before applying the shampoo. It'll help you conserve your shampoo in the long run. So you will apply your shampoo in the same manner as you did with the oil. You will rub it in between your hands, pick it up with your fingers, and deliver it directly to the scalp as much as possible, and then down the hair shaft. And you repeat this in the front, in the back, and the center of the head. And you will want to grab just a little more shampoo so that you can make sure that the hair on the inside, in the midst of the forest, gets enough shampoo to thoroughly cleanse the hair, even with the first wash. Now, you will not get much of a lather with that first shampoo, because the shampoo is removing the dirt and oil and buildup that the rinse did not remove. So do not expect a lather. Please don't keep adding shampoo to your hair just because you want to see the bubbles. Just because you don't see the bubbles doesn't mean that your hair is not getting cleansed. Take note not to whoosh the hair forward and backwards. As you will notice, I am going in from the sides, keeping the hair aligned and directed in the same direction, which is to the back. And this is in an effort to prevent creating tangles while you're shampooing the hair. If you have a good moisturizing shampoo, the shampoo will do a little bit of conditioning for you to help prevent tangles as well. And now I'm just rinsing the shampoo from my hair. I am going to repeat the shampoo process 2 more times. As you will notice, this time around the shampoo practically lathers immediately, and I don't have to apply as much shampoo to my hair in order to get a good lather, and I will start the process all over again. For each shampoo, I scrub my scalp and what I call squeegeeing the hair. Basically just squeezing the hair as if you were trying to cleanse a sponge. I cleanse my scalp just as thorough as the first time, all 3 times, to make sure that I've removed all of the buildup and debris from my scalp. There is no way to have healthy hair without having a healthy scalp. Cleansing of the hair is one of the most important parts of hair care. Your scalp cannot breathe, and your follicles can become clogged if the dirt and debris are not properly removed from the scalp. It can't take in any oil. Oil and bacteria and fungus can develop because it's always on the skin and it isn't ever thoroughly removed, and it can lead to scalp conditions, not just hair loss or thinning, but you can also experience skin conditions on the scalp, because the scalp is just that, it's skin underneath the hair. So you want to make sure to cleanse your scalp just as good, if not better, than you do your hair. So now I am applying the conditioner. As you saw, I sectioned off my hair using my fingers, and I am applying the conditioner into the roots first, as usual, and then down the hair, and then I used my rake comb to detangle my hair during the conditioning process. And you will do the same thing by starting at the ends of the hair and working your way up the hair shaft to the roots. When you come to a knot, same thing. Stop at the knot and go under the knot, starting from the ends and working your way up until the knot is smoothed all the way out. Now I am finishing up the last section of my head. I am going to twist it, and when I rinse the conditioner from my hair, I am going to leave my hair in the twist, because that is going to help me manage my hair during the blow dry. So one thing to note about rinsing the conditioner from your hair is you want to make sure that the water is cool. The colder the better, but what I'm going to say is reduce the heat of the water to a point to which you can stand it without hyperventilating or it becoming difficult to breathe. And the point behind this is to activate the wonderfulness of the conditioner and to leave that nice protective barrier on the hair before you start the blow drying process. When you are rinsing conditioner from the hair, you don't want to rinse the conditioner to the point that the hair is squeaky. You want to follow the 80-20 rule. You want to remove 80% of the conditioner from the hair during the rinse. You want to be able to feel the softness or the presence of the conditioner, but you don't want your hair to feel like that there's conditioner on the hair, like as if you just conditioned it and then didn't rinse it out or didn't rinse it out good. It shouldn't feel that way. The hair should definitely feel softer and more manageable and a little smoother, but it should definitely not be squeaky. You will want to get the towel plenty enough time to absorb as much water out of the hair as possible before you start the blow drying process. So at this point, I am taking down my twist that I sectioned during the conditioning, and I am going to apply my leave-in conditioner and the serum that I use for my hair. Now currently I have the KMB Great Hair System on my hair, the amino acid reconstructing conditioning system by KMB Great Hair, and so they have their own products that I have to use with that system in order to make it last as long as it should. So those are the products that I'm using. If you are doing a regular silk press, then the 365 leave-in and the satin silkening glaze are just fine as a leave-in and thermal protector for the blow dry. At this point, I'm going to do a light detangle, but the purpose of this comb through really is to distribute the product through the hair to make sure that the product is distributed to any hairs that may have been missed during my application. Just like every other area of this process, when blow drying the hair, you want to start at the ends and work your way up to the hair shaft and then thoroughly smooth out the roots. What I want you to notice during the blow dry is how I keep the hair stretched. I keep the hair stretched tautly, not hard or tight or forceful, but I keep the hair stretched during the drying process. For one, you do not want your coils to spring back on themselves because it can cause damage when you're using the blow dryer to pull the pick attachment of the blow dryer through the hair. Also, it just makes it harder. It makes it take longer. It's painful, especially if you're tender head. It's really painful. I like the blow dryers with the nozzle versus the ones that look like a comb. From my experience, and this is pre-master cosmetology licensing, the comb on the blow dryer that kind of works like a comb or a brush, the teeth are not strong. They break easily and the comb pops off while you're working all the time. With the nozzle blow dryer, that does not seem to happen as often, and I lose very few teeth. I have lost a few teeth though, and what I can say, I haven't had any clients break the teeth off of my pick attachment. It's usually my hair, but it definitely gives me a lot more control. You can get a blow dryer like this one with the pick attachment from Salon, JOIERE, bestbeautysupply.com. You can find the link on the website, and it is also provided below right here. So what happened here is the hair got too hot to handle, and I had to use my 7-row brush. I think that's actually a Denman brush, in order to control the hair while I blow dried it because it was just too hot. Now usually I am wearing gloves, and the gloves that I use have heat protection properties to it, in that I am aware that the hair is hot, but it does not burn my hands. There are gloves out there that you can get that'll protect your skin from thermal styling. They're called nitrile gloves, and I actually have several places that I get them from. I look for the mil size that I need or the thickness that I need in a glove, and I get them wherever I can find them at a reasonable price. Since COVID-19 hit, gloves went from anywhere from $8 to $13 a box for 100 gloves to now $25 a box, but they are worth it. I would just use them sparingly and only as needed. Your nitrile gloves are also a good protection for your scalp. I know a lot of us like to scratch our scalp when we're shampooing our hair, and we want to use our fingernails because it just feels good. But fingernails cause abrasions, and abrasions create openings for chemicals to enter the body and the bloodstream. So to prevent this from happening, because I have a few clients that they want fingernails, balls of the fingers is not good enough. But with COVID-19, I have to wear gloves all the time. But this was something that I did even before COVID-19 hit. I wore gloves during the shampoo process and actually through the entire styling process, because in the event that I use my fingernails on my client's scalp, their scalp is protected from abrasions. They're protected from my fingernails. They are protected from any bacteria that may exist up under my fingernails. Also, I am not collecting any fungus or bacteria off of my client's scalp when I'm working. So we're both protected. And I usually keep the gloves on because they protect my hands and my skin during thermal styling as well. So I've just gotten used to wearing my gloves for everything, from silk presses to weaves. From silk presses to weaves to braids. I wear my gloves. It's just today I decided to go for it. It's my hair. Oh well. So now that I have completed the blow dry, I am going to take about 2 pumps of my serum, my KMB Great Hair Serum, and I am just going to run it through my hair. Being that I used it prior to the blow dry, I don't need very much for the press. It's just a nice little extra layer of thermal protection prior to putting the irons in my hair. This time I use the H2 Pro Reds flat irons for my hair. I usually use my Andes Titanium 450, but this time I wanted to see how the H2 Pro irons would work on my hair. So I'm applying the serum through my hair. I am going to brush it through, and then I am going to blow dry it with cool air to close the cuticles on all that wonderfulness that I just put on my hair. Now I will not be demonstrating the silk press in this video, but I did want to extend some helpful tips. So for one thing, you do not want to use 450 degrees if you don't need it. So first off, I would purchase a pair of flat irons that show the actual temperature of the irons, not dots or numbers, but the actual temperature. You need to know how much heat you are putting on your hair. So after you make that investment, I would start with a low number like 300 and perform a single pass. If the hair does not straighten with that one pass, section off another piece of hair, raise the temperature to 350, give it one pass. If that doesn't straighten your hair, go up a notch, 375, 390, or even 400. If you're on the fine side or the thin side, then I would start with lower increments. So from 350, go to 370, go to 380, 390, and you find that number where when you pass the irons over your hair the first time, you get it as straight as you want it to be. It is utter nonsense to me how people, even stylists, are passing temperatures of 400 degrees or more over the hair 4, 5, 6, 8. I've even seen as high as 9 times over one piece of hair. That is definitely how you cause heat damage to your hair. You only need to use as much heat as necessary to straighten your hair. You increasing the irons is only going to increase the likelihood of burning your hair. Once heat damage occurs, there really is no going back from that. So that's why you want to learn your number, not somebody else's and what you've seen on YouTube or what somebody told you they always do. When you turn the irons on, you do not have to turn it all the way to high. I hate high-low irons. Invest in irons that will tell you how much heat you are putting on your hair. Part off small sections. If the smaller the section you part, the more the heat is able to be distributed throughout the hair. So it will get it straight on the first pass versus parting off large chunks of hair and you feeling the need to pass the irons over your hair multiple times because it's not getting straight. It's not getting straight because the heat cannot be thoroughly distributed through the hair in order to straighten it all at the same temperature. The hair in the center of your parting is not getting the same level of heat as the hair on the outside. So if you part the pieces smaller, you will be able to get the hair the straightest on the first pass. Worst case scenario is that you have to do 2 passes. Another thing is it is not necessary to straighten the hair and then curl the hair. You can curl the hair on the first pass as well. You can put a bend in the hair on the first passes as well. You can create a body wave. You can do whatever you want to do with that first pass once you find out or once you know what your heat setting temperature or degree is for your irons. I used to do it, but now that I know better, I do better. And I don't expose my client's hair to any more heat than is necessary to achieve the results that we want. At all times, you want to protect the integrity of your hair. This is Dyniecia Barnes of Salon JOIERE, and this concludes the video on the detangling, shampoo, and silk press process. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much.